For many people of color, the first time we experience racism happens when you're too young to understand what's really going on. 9 News photojournalist Byron Reed and producer Avikra Lucky talked to 7 Coloradans about those first encounters with racism. Here are just some of their stories.
Wow. 7?
My first experience with racism definitely happened before I could possibly remember it. It happened when I was younger than 2.
I think when I turned 5 and went into kindergarten, and me and my older sibling were in the same school, it was very apparent at that point. It was always kind of like these microaggressions that I would experience.
I was on a softball team, a rec league softball team, and we'd have sleepovers, and at one of the sleepovers, the coach was meeting my mom to drop me off, and we were driving through a Walmart parking lot, and she and her friend were in the front seat, and I was in the back seat playing on my Game Boy, just minding my own business, and all of a sudden, she slams on her brakes, and she says, like, stupid.
Just getting called that word from a bunch of non-colored people, it kind of threw me. It threw me because I look at people all the same. I mean, that's been me. That's been my whole life, and that's how my mom taught me.
I come from a biracial family and was brought up mainly on my mother's side, which is all immigrants from Central America, and I'm actually the only African American child in the first generation. It was not uncommon for me to be called El Negrito, which is like the little black one in Spanish.
It didn't bother me at the time because I didn't get it, because in my head I said, well, my uncles say it all the time, it's no big deal. And they laughed. And I really didn't get that. I didn't get it for a long time. I was a kid. It wasn't something that was brought up.
It's a story that my parents always tell. They were together with me and I was in my stroller, and they were shopping at Dillard's in the Southwest Plaza Mall here in Denver. And so they had gone for some specific items and ended up not finding what they needed. So as they were leaving, because they didn't buy anything and they didn't get what they needed, security approached them and stopped them, and immediately started throwing the blankets off of my stroller, off of me, in my stroller, and going through to see if they had stolen anything.
So went home, asked my mom about it, and she told me more about it, and it was one of those things like, so it's a derogatory thing. Okay, how am I supposed to react to it? She's like, don't. Because if you do, people are gonna look at you like you're the problem.
Going through a child's stroller, and throwing blankets off of an infant is, it's a hard story to hear, but it's something that we as people of color have to stomach every day. We don't just have to hear these stories, we have to live these stories.
That kind of conditioning growing up is really the number one thing that sticks out to me, is that even kind of within the family area where you wouldn't anticipate that being a thing, it was.
People are going to pick on you for being different. It is important to find the people who support you for being the unique person that you are. The people that are going to build you up and build up those strengths that you have.
Continue doing what you were doing. Don't be triggered by it.
All of those things that you think are great about yourself, they are.
Keep your chin up. Never look down. Use that experience, take it in and learn from it, and then work for and towards racial equity.
This is a necessary, ongoing conversation that continues online in our Voices of Change section on the 9news.com website. There you're going to find an interview our Mile High Mornings team did with a racial equity expert about experiencing racism at a young age and how parents can teach their children about racism and support them after incidents like the ones you just heard of. We'll be right back.